Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Operation Monster Force, the Donner Party, and that is because basically this guy is a Frankenstein, I believe, and you can see right there, I got Frankenstein's monster sitting right there from the Four Horsemen, the figure obscura. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this one. I'm really excited. This is also a big shout out to all my friends that are big horror guys. I think a lot of people were looking forward to this. And I don't know, there's just something about this that really makes me excited. So anyway, we can see the photography right there, how he looks as we open him up here. There is a nice little panel, a comic book panel that talks about who he is, how they made him, or whatever. I didn't read it. I'm here to review figures, not the lore. There is the actual figure. There's a lot of glare, obviously. It doesn't look like he comes with a lot of accessories, but I'm pretty sure that in the bag there are some. So anyway, and then I showed you there is the Donner Party right there. This is from Season 2. I saw Season 2 somewhere around here. Anyway, it is from Season 2. Where the heck was the Season 2 at? I know, this is riveting, huh? Anyway. Just trust me, it's Season 2. Oh yeah, Season 2 right there. Anyway, there is a nice little bio about him if you want to read about him. But I'm going to get in this. I'm excited because I didn't get him early because I don't kiss ass and beg people to get merchandise free and stuff like that. I'm not that big, but we're going to take a look at this. I'm excited, if you can't tell. So let's get into this. But before we do, if you like this type of stuff, you like when I've been dropping the Operation Monster Force stuff, the other Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, that's going to be coming. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an Operation Monster Force review. All right, so let me start off with a line from Roadhouse, and that is, I thought you'd be bigger. Quickly, I did forget to mention, they always had this this window panel here, but they had Velcro on the first season. This has a magnet, so it stays on much nicer. Also, it doesn't kind of bunch up the way some of the other, when you're putting them away. And I do keep all my boxes, you can't tell. So anyway, let's get into the accessories. First, we'll start off with what we've had already. So we have stands. I think most of you guys know my feelings on stands, but I like the fact that this can just be used as a gravestone in the background. So it can actually be used for something. But either way, here we have Operation Monster Force. 2 pegs for their feet. It fits Joe's and every other basic 6-inch figure. You can see that it's worn. You can see the cracks in it. Again, all really nice. Detail, nothing on the back, and then it tells you that it's the Donner Party. So if they're sitting down like this. Now, again, Donner Party is because he is a mismatch of people. At least that's what I'm pretty sure, right? If I'm wrong, please in the comments let me know. All right, so things that we've already had, I always like to go over first. We could use blast effects. All right, so we get this one here. It's kind of like the biggest, I think this might be the biggest one. A big plume here. You know, it's a little bit translucent. I wish it kind of just was like exploding rather than the plume. This looks like a one-shot rather than like a machine gun that's just firing a whole bunch. But it doesn't look bad at all. A little bit better than the Hasbro ones, I'll say that. Here's a medium-sized one. I use this more for like pistols or submachine guns when I do it. Again, translucent. You got the nice little plume just kind of blowing up, and then it's just shooting off into a tip. No bullet on it. And then we have this one here, and I like the explosion here. It tends to make more sense. A little bent here. We got to straighten that out. Again, it looks like they're all made with the same type of translucent plastic. And you're going to have an awful lot of these. They give you these 3 with almost every single figure. I think at least every figure that comes with a rifle of some sort. And then we have this smoke effect, and all these smoke effects, the Hasbro ones, this one, they look really nice, okay? If you're taking shots and you just finish firing, they're going to look nice. You just have this nice little cloud. And the one thing I like about this, and then Hasbro has some, I believe Joe has some, so Marvel, just to have a bunch of different ones so they're not all looking the exact same. All right, so quickly, He comes with a bunch of hands like so many of these figures. So we're going to get 2 open hands. And these are gloved. You have these like knuckle dusters, it looks like, on it. Nice gold in it. Got a little bit of gold etching right around there. And you can look at the glove. And everything looks really good. Here we have our 2... I can't call these thumb wrestling hands because their thumbs are not up. So these C gripping hands, these are true C gripping. You can see right there. Again, they all look the exact same with the knuckle duster right there. So I'm going to assume you get the nice little gold right there. But they're all gloved, which is probably too, since this guy would have messed up hands, I would assume. Then we got our punching, all right. And I guess they're not total knuckle dusters. They're kind of to the side. But you can tell they're right across the knuckles. Again, all this nice detail. When you look at that right there, you just get a little bit of wrinkling. So it looks actually real. All right. As for our weapons, we get this revolver. And it has some flexibility to it. And I know I had some issues with some of their early weapons where they tend to, pieces break off because of how stiff they are. It's one of those things where if you have it classified, you're not going to have to worry about it, but you also might have to worry about it being warped. So we have the grip that is painted brown, and then you have what I would assume is like a gun metallic. You can see the revolver right there. It doesn't spin. You got your trigger right here, your trigger guard. No port for blast effects, but you do have a nice iron sight right there. Then we get this little weapon. This is lever action, a lever action rifle, if I remember correctly. So once again, you're going to have the same color scheme going on, all right? Brown stock right here. There's your lever action. You got your trigger. Brown right up there. It's hard to see. Maybe it'll show up differently once it's recorded. The brown really mixes in with this like gunmetal. You do have your port for blast effects. You got your sight. And if we take one of these blast effects, I would hope they plug into their own stuff. So that plugs in fairly nicely. And then we get the Tommy gun. Now I know the Tommy gun, it is an old gun. It is obsolete. But you can't tell me that a Tommy gun is not an awesome looking rifle. All right. So I don't believe no removable magazine. That would be cool. I don't think we've had a Tommy gun with a removable magazine yet. Again, brown stock, brown grip, and then you have your brown up top here. You got your nice barrel that's running across, port for blast effects, your magazine, which is not removable, trigger guard, and then you have your sight right there. And once again, we'll just leave that on the ground because I have another one. And that punches in perfectly fine, just like that. And then we have his machete. At least I think it's a machete. All right, so this is a nice soft rubber, which makes it look like it's leather. You get the paint right there for the buttons or the rivets or whatever it is that are holding it into place. All right, you can see that it's open, probably to make it so it's just easier for this thing to slide in. It's obviously going to lock onto something. We'll find out. When I look at this detail, this to me is the type of stuff that you'll get from Mythic Legions and other companies like that. And then once you pull this thing out, you have your nice red blade, which has some wash onto it. It's a little worn. A lot of detail in it. And then you have your blade, which is carved up with all this little detail throughout it. All right. And it really does look worn, but it's not beat up. All right. We're going to slide that right there. And then we have his little, whatever you want to call it. Not cape. His robe. I'll call it his robe. Someone will tell me. Anyway, Very beat up. It's got holes through it because it's ripped. It is a wire cape, so we can definitely make it flowing, or you can have it just laying straight down. But you see all this wear, a little bit of blood on it, right? Actually, a lot of blood on it. And this is one of those things where, hey, you have G.I. Joe Classified, you can use it on that. Now let's get to the actual figure. And yes, I thought you'd be bigger. So quickly, as we look at this head, oof, a lot of detail to get into. So this guy is pretty graphic. On top, he has some sort of metal plate. All right, you can see little rivets that are kind of holding it together. He's kind of stitched here. He has partial hair. He almost looks like, he almost has like the ultimate, or the Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk is Hulk Hogan. Hulk from, you know, the Incredible Hulk. That's the word I was looking for. But looking at this guy, his eyes look good, nice and straight. Well, it wouldn't even matter with him because, let's be honest, this guy is all over the place. His teeth are pretty beat up. All that detail where you can tell he's kind of decaying. There we have the rods on the temple. Or at least there's one rod right there. Ear is absolutely beat up. You got like a zipper on the back. I mean, it might be stitching, but that looks more like a zipper than anything to me. Then we come down to his, I don't know what you call it. It's not a bandolier, but it has two different ones. Looks like we can probably pop that off fairly easily. So you have all this stitching in it. At first I thought those were bullets, but they ain't bullets. But you do have these pauldrons up here. Underneath, just kind of a little bit of a guard here. He has the United States flag wrapped around his arm, which you technically can take off if you don't want that on there. Arms look pretty good. You come down to these gloves and you can see the continuation onto the gauntlets or the forearm pieces of the gloves. And you got this nice gold little rivets or buttons. Around here, we have the shotgun bullets. So he is carrying a bunch of bullets wrapped around here. Here we have a holster for his revolver, and you can see the belt buckle right there, painted in gold, which I like. Down here, now I'm assuming that this guy, something happened that's awful, and what I mean by that is he has like a little sheriff's badge. He has what I believe is a bunny of some sort. And then he has these beads, like maybe he lost his daughter. That's what he remembers. And then he has like this pouch. It looks like this is some sort of Native American pouch. You can see the feathers right there. A lot of detail within it. All right. Painted tips right here. The tassels kind of hanging down. You got your buckles right here. You can see the belt buckle. This is all ripped and torn. Again, looks really nice all the way. And this is pliable enough you can move it. Then we just get down to his pants. A little bit of color right here, going right down here. And then we get down to what again looks more like Native American stuff. So I'm wondering like if, maybe if I read the bio, but again, I'm reviewing an action figure. I'm not trying to read the bios and tell you how close he is to the lore. Matter of fact, it's their own lore. So, but when you look at this, again, really nice. You can see the straps that are kind of holding all of this together. As for his articulation, we'll get into this. Man, he can only look up that far. Not very good. And then he can look down that far. Turn side to side. We can see his neck is actually moving. So not only can his head move, but his neck also moves. So you can pop it off, swap it if you want to. There is his T-pose. He can swivel at the shoulder and at the bicep. Double pinless elbows. Now, I am not heating this figure up. I'm not having any issues, but if you feel like you're having an issue, take the time, throw it in some hot water, not boiling water, and let it heat up. Hands are going to swivel. All right, so we got the same going on this side. Now what I will do quickly is we'll look at his butterfly joints. And we'll see how good these are. And I feel like we've had no problems. I mean, they come closer than the classified, but I feel like I've had other ones that, I'm talking about the Operation Monster Force, they really had no problem having your arm straight out, crossing over. All right, those ones are just a little missed. He has the diaphragm cut, so he can rock around like this. He turns side to side, actually at the diaphragm, but I think he should turn at the waist too, but he turns at the waist too, but he also just turns at the diaphragm. His Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is really good. Drop down hips. All right, and then we have the thigh cut, which once you turn the thigh, that creates a breakage. And it's not like that pop, once it pops, it's loose. It's still really tight. It might be the plastic or the paint that they use with the plastics. There is your knee bend. And the knees look like they're done differently now. So when you bend the knee here, it's breaking, it's coming across here like that's the pant leg. And same with up there. And I'm wondering if that's new. It's odd, because this side is different. So I'm wondering what is... Well, once I get another one open, I guess we'll take a look and see. Maybe it's just supposed to be that it's a torn pant. So maybe because the pants are torn here, that's why that one does it. This one is not. So it's supposed to be one even pant leg. Hard to say. All right. Then you get your boot cut right there. And then we get your ankle rockers. I think because of this here, as cool as that is, it is going to limit you to making some, or taking a little bit more time of posing your actual figures. All right, so let's get this on them really quick. And we'll pop the head off, which uses a standard size peg. Unfortunately, that is not the size for G.I. Joe Classified anymore, although some of the older stuff, it will fit, but most of the other figures, you don't have a problem. Matter of fact, I need to take that off. Actually just goes down. All right, and then here I would say this thing just kind of clips around there, but I'm assuming it should clip on this way. Well, that's frustrating. Man, oh man. Alright, so that clips on. I think it's going to stay on pretty well. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it like this, if you're new to the channel, I like to show you what you're going to do the moment you get this out, how you're going to have to address it. Alright, look at that waist, looks pretty good there. I like the cloth, or the cloth look. Alright, so there's no hole at the bottom there, so this is just going to sit in there. And now we'll throw it over this way because we have the that thing up there. All right, trigger fingers, and hopefully, if we look, they do articulate up and down. So I shouldn't have any problem with the lever action. The lever action rifle here. I get his finger on the trigger. See, their fingers like tend to bend in a little bit too much, so you kind of have to pull them out to make it work. All right. So as you can see, he can aim down, and that thing fell right off. Now, once again, I want people to understand, see all the stuff like this coming off? When you're not doing this on camera, and you're not trying to sit behind it, sometimes I'm looking at the camera, sometimes I'm looking over, it's a lot easier. You may not have as many issues. So we want to get this up kind of like the wind is blowing, which actually works out perfect, to be honest. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. These figures, can we get on 1 foot? Get them on 1 foot without a problem. Again, this is going to, again, if you go back to the old G.I. Joe Classified, this is kind of like the shin guard. It's going to get in the way, but it serves a purpose on the way it's supposed to look. All right. So you take this off here, throw this Tommy gun on him. I'm gonna move this. Those are the types of things that you want to get them posed first, and then once you have them posed, then you figure out how you're going to put on, especially the soft goods, stuff like that. So this guy here, no issues, stock against the shoulder. And before someone points out that, hey, that's not exactly how someone shoots, remember, these are action figures. All right. So there you go. That is your Donner Party. A very interesting character. Again, Operation Monster Force. Tells you all you need to know that these are, well, monsters. And this is going to take a little bit of time. But again, like I said, if you're not sitting here on camera, probably not as hard. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm not wrapping it up yet because, again, this is supposed to be like a Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster. I thought he'd be bigger. He's just a little bit taller than this new Steel Core Sentry. And I literally brought him down because I thought I didn't think that he'd be as tall. These are based off a 7-inch buck, even though he is over 7 inches. I thought he'd be taller. They don't match together. Not even close. But, hey, you do whatever you want with it. This guy was created. Now let's wrap it up. All right, so there you go. That is your Operation Monster Force Donner Party. These are made by, it was Fresh Monkey Fiction. It looks like now it's going to be called Big Bad Workshop. I'll probably continue to call it Fresh Monkey Fiction for quite some time. Same company, just now it's backed by BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store. Anyway, nice figure. I wish it was a little bit bigger. All the pictures make it seem like it is. So I think because he's not taller than the rest, he's just a basic 6-inch figure, he feels small. But the detail in him is awesome. So I'm like super excited to do some shots with this, get the rest of these open. Many of you may not know this. I'm going out of town for work next week, and I have all of this stuff behind me. So the goal is to work all weekend, get these things loaded, and just have stuff going out all weekend while I'm, I wouldn't say busting my ass, but working. So anyway, there you go. That is your Operation Monster Force. These are available only at Big Bad Toy Store. I should have said that earlier, but I think most of you know. Anyway, there you go. That's your Frankenstein's creature. Actually, that's Frankenstein's monster over there. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop an Operation Monster Force. Now, don't go anywhere. You're probably saying, have you reviewed any other Operation Monster Force? Well, you're in luck because I've reviewed, I believe, all of them so far other than this. And what I'm going to do is drop one right up here, and down here will be a playlist of all the Fresh Monkey Fiction, Operation Monster Force, Big Bad Workshop, that stuff that I've done. Take care.